and welcome to this session titled Collaborative and Self-Generated Events. My name's Jared Reuter. In today's session, I'm going to tell you about the differences between collaborative events and self-generated events, also show you some examples of what a collaborative and what a self-generated event actually is. I'll give you examples of some of the events our franchisees have had, and open up the opportunity for you yourself to have these collaborative and self-generated events in your territory as a franchisee of Plan Ahead Events. So, before we get started, I want to make sure that you guys know the difference between what a collaborative event is and what a self-generated event is. So first, collaborative events. Collaborative events are usually planned with other franchisees. It's when a few franchisees get together, either by chatting on the collaborative Facebook group or even just at regional meetings or even at our World Expo, decide to host and plan an event in their territories respectively, but all plan and collaborate on an event together throughout the entire planning process. What that means is they, as number 2 states, agree upon an event theme. So whether that's a 5K run, whether it's an outdoor festival, whether it's a business expo, whether it's an entertaining or food event, the franchisees get together, agreed upon the event theme, and start strategically planning this event together. However, each and every single one of these events that the franchisees are planning are hosted in their own territory, as it states in number 3. So throughout the entire planning process, you're working together with the franchisees, you're collaborating together. One franchisee might be responsible for creating a logo. One franchisee might be responsible for creating the eTouches page. Another franchisee might be responsible for creating the social media page, and so forth. You divvy up the work and make it a collaborative effort amongst our franchisees. Then, once it comes down to the actual day of the event, you yourself are hosting your event in your territory as a franchisee, but also the other franchisees are hosting the same event in their territories as well. So this provides you an opportunity to have national exposure for your event, as well as a nice supporting cast with the other franchisees throughout the entire planning process, and even after the fact too, when you're doing wraps-ups, close-ups, and getting feedback from your event that you've just had. So that's the definition of a collaborative event. Our franchisees are having these all of the time, all across the country and across the world as well. So feel free to tap into all of our franchisee network. That's what being in a franchise is all about. And start finding out the best way to have a collaborative event in your territory. So now that you understand what a collaborative event is, I want to explain to you what a self-generated event is. A self-generated event is an event that you come up with the concept, as it states in number 1, the idea, the concept, the timeline, the date, the theme, everything entitled with that event, and you're the one planning the entire event yourself. Now, self-generated events are usually events that our franchisees either plan right out of training school or even in between dead times, as our more veteran franchisees are planning these events in between some of their larger events as well. Number 2 states that the franchisees the ultimate decision maker as well. You don't have to collaborate with other franchisees or work with a client or anything like that. You yourself as a franchisee, as creating a self-generated event, don't have to run any ideas or any concepts by anybody else. You're the ultimate decision maker in a self-generated event. Number 3, and which is probably the most exciting thing about a self-generated event, is you're the main financial beneficiary of this event as well. So you collect 100% of ticket sales, 100% of booth sales, sponsorships, promotional items, and everything else. All funding comes right back to you. You're not splitting it with a client. You're not getting a deposit or a percentage of sales, anything like that. All financial streams that are coming through this event go directly to the franchisee. Now, one of the risks with a self-generated event and collaborative event as well is that means you are fronting some of the financial needs when planning the event as well. So something to keep in mind while planning a self-generated or a collaborative event. So now that we're a little bit more clear on what a self-generated event and what a collaborative event is, I'm going to dive into some of the different types of self-generated and collaborative events some of our franchisees around the globe have planned themselves with Plan Ahead Events. The first collaborative event that I want to talk to you about is called Mom's Day 5K. Mom's Day 5K is a 5K race held on, you got it, Mother's Day. This event is an opportunity for our franchisees to host their own 5K event in their territory centered around Mother's Day. Now, for an event like this, there's a timeline already created, a logo created, an eTouches page already created, and more. This gives you the opportunity to plug in what another franchisee has already done in their territory and plug it right into your territory and make it a success right away. Now, Mom's Day 5K is a great event for many reasons. One, 5Ks are very popular in today's day and age. People line up for these events every single weekend. Whether it's a themed run, whether it's one on a holiday, or just a 5K in general, people love participating in 5K events. One of the great things about hosting a 5K event, whether it's Mom's Day 5K or any other 5K event that you decide you want to host in your territory, is that there's a lot of financial opportunity to be made while hosting a 5K event. For instance, one, there's not much of an overhead involved when planning a 5K event. There's no venue cost, there's no food or drink or insurance, not many other high expenses that go into planning a 5K event. Two is that there's a great potential for revenue as well, leading ultimately to a nice profit margin for you. The ways that you generate revenue for an event like this is, one, being the main one, registration. Getting people to register for this type of event, whether it's a themed event or just a generic 5K event, is pretty easy for the most part. People love participating in these events on the weekends and the mornings, especially if there's a fun theme tied in with it as well. Another way to generate revenue through a 5K event would be sponsorships. Getting local businesses to sponsor your event and be on the flyers that you pass out across the finish line, booths actually at your 5K event, and more. Also, speaking of booths, you can sell booth space at 5K events as well. These booths like to be set up before the event while everyone's getting together and getting themselves prepared for the event, whether it's a food vendor or a drink vendor or even just a local business that wants to get exposure in front of a large local crowd. Booth sales is another great revenue generator for you with Mom's Day 5K type event or any other 5K type of event as well. So I'm sure in your marketplace you've heard of a 5K event type or theme that's really been popular in your marketplace. Think about how those creative themes have turned out for a large crowd, and think about having a 5K run in your territory as a Plan Ahead Events franchisee. A lot of our franchisees have experience in 5K events, so make sure to tap into them of their experience and their knowledge in this industry and in this event type to find out what was a success and what was not so much of a success when planning a self-generated 5K event. The next event type that I'd like to tell you about is called the Total Health Fest. This was a collaborative event held in the United States back in, I believe, 2012. A group of franchisees that are either health nuts or not got together and said we wanted to have a Total Health Fest that a majority of our locations can plan and host together, and that ultimately brings awareness to the benefits of health in any territory. The reason why this type of event works in most territories is, for the most part, the general public loves health. That's a big trend right now is outdoors events and health and staying in shape, eating organically, being active with your kids, being outdoors, and so forth. So this is a fantastic opportunity to tap into that popular trend right now. So what the Total Health Fest was for the most part, some franchisees had the event indoors, some also had it outdoors, but it was a large outdoor or indoor gathering of extracurricular activities, outdoor events, fitness and health and wellness exhibitors were there as well, healthy food and education sessions as well for the general public to come to, pay a ticket price, and come and enjoy. As you can see from some of the photos, our franchisees had a fantastic time planning this event with outdoor rock climbing walls, bounce houses, vendor booths, food, and a great turnout as you can see from this photo, as well as a fantastic event promotion poster that was created on this right side as well. These resources you can find on either Oscar or the Facebook collaborative group to tap into some of these marketing resources that you might want to use for your Total Health Fest in your territory. Now, the third event that I'd like to tell you about is a newer concept, a newer theme that our franchisees are planning currently and are rolling out in the summer of 2012. And that is the Bacon and Kegs Fest. Now, you might say to yourself, I'm not really into bacon, I'm not really into beer, and that's fine. You don't have to be to put in this type of event. But you know who is? Everybody else is really into bacon and kegs right now. So this is a fantastic event to make sure that you get a large turnout for. Bacon and Kegs is your type of event. So the Bacon and Kegs Festival is an outdoor event where people come and they enjoy bacon and beer. So you have your local vendors come and participate in this event, set up booths, set up tasting stations, set up drinking stations, maybe some outdoor music, and have a great, fantastic event centered around the main concept of bacon and beer. Our franchisees have taken this really fun concept and really evolved it and molded it and made it into their own in their own respective territories. And that's something that you are more than open to do with any of these self-generated or collaborative events in your territory as well. Take the concept, take the theme, and mold it and specify it to your territory and make it your own event. For instance, our franchisee in Peoria, Illinois, is actually planning this event and hosting a 5K event and also a 0.05K event at their Bacon and Kegs event. So what that means is the opportunity to still have the Bacon and Beer Festival, outdoor music and everything in between, but also an opportunity for some of the more adventurous to run in a 5K centered around bacon and beer. She's taken that a step further actually and made a 0.05K run as well happening at her event. So what that means is, for those of you on the metric system, 0.05K is really not that far. One of the things that they're doing while being on the 0.05K run is they have to walk the race. They also have to be drinking beer while walking the race and eating some bacon along the way as well. So they've taken this event, made it into a fun thing, a different, fun, creative type of concept, and have gotten a tremendous turnout for sign-ups and attendees and booth sales and so forth, just because of the fun, creative concept that she's taken from the Bacon and Kegs concept and made into her own. And you might say to yourself, I really like this concept. Bacon is a really popular trend right now, but I don't want to have to deal with the whole beer thing or getting a liquor license or an alcohol license or insurance or liabilities. No problem. What one of our franchisees actually in Binghamton, New York did was take the same exact concept but made it into an event called the Bacon and Cheese Fest. She's taken this event centered around bacon, and actually instead of beer and alcohol outside, she's had it paired with cheese. So another fine food choice paired with bacon, being cheese. The entire event is now centered around that. So the event now is more family oriented rather than a Bacon and Kegs type of event being more adult oriented. Taking the Bacon and Cheese Fest and has really marketed herself as being a family event, something that church groups can go to, family groups, school groups as well, and really has got a great buy-in from her entire community as a whole. The local radio station has picked up this event. She's been getting sponsors and booth sales ever since she's come up with the concept, and it's been doing really well. So like we talked about with the Total Health Fest, like the Mom's Day 5K, and any of those other types of events, you're more than welcome to take those types of events and really structure them and mold them to become your own. Because each territory is essentially different. People in Binghamton, New York might not be big on beer, but New York's a great cheese state. So focusing on cheese and a Bacon and Cheese Fest is a fantastic idea, especially for her territory. So with any of these concepts and any of these themes, feel free to take them, make them into your own, but also still tap back into the franchisee resource and find out what was successful at their event, what wasn't successful, what would they have done differently if they had this event again, and maybe even ask to borrow some of their marketing resources and their eTouches page and their logo perhaps. It's all the same family, so as long as you ask, you should be able to get a good response. That's it for part 1. Check out part 2 to find out more about collaborative and self-generated events with Plan Ahead events. Thanks, guys.